got CONCACAF, right? So we are running through CONCACAF as a national team with our C team beating beating teams easily. The seven nothing, 6-0. Um, there are some teams that are competing with us, but they're tying our C team. Is the USMNT the top of the region right now?
No question. I think Mexico has gotten worse. I think Canada is definitely on the rise, but not quite there yet. I think the US is top of the region easily, especially if we had the right coaching in place. But talent wise, I think it's not a question.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. Um, so we talked about it a little bit, right? Mexico falling off, Canada's unstable. They can't even pay players right now, let alone put out, the squad they want to put out. Those two are definitely top three with us, but then it falls off really, really heavily. Um, you know, we have this B and C team that used to make it tough, right? We used to have 4-0 games, 3-0 games. They weren't easy games, right? They were relatively challenging. And now these B and C teams are pretty much getting all these results all over the place. And again, you look at the makeup, right? B and C teams from 2 years ago, 4 years ago were mostly MLS starters or like fringe MLS guys. Excuse me. Edit that out. Um, but now they're lower tier European guys, MLS starters and stars. I mean, that's the C team that we're sending. It's it's a much better look than Mexico aging or Canada still trying to figure it out. Panama, Costa Rica falling off because they're old. Nobody else really stepping up. So I ask, is this because USMNT is getting better, or is CONCACAF just getting worse?
I think this is a bit of an easy answer or the easy answer, but I think it's a little bit of both. I
That is cop out.
I think we are definitely getting better. No question about it. Just look at the team from like 2018 compared to now. Like it's significantly better. It's significantly deeper. We have many more options. Just as you mentioned, the C team is playing right now and dominating teams. Granted that we should be dominating. Uh, but I also think CONCACAF is getting worse. I think Mexico, while still having some good players, has gotten worse. I think Canada has really good potential. They just kind of had to get that stability, like you said. But I feel like Panama, Costa Rica, I feel like they've taken a step back. And I don't know the teams well enough to say for certain, but I just feel like I haven't heard a lot in terms of like the next guys up for those countries, like who's coming into the mix. I think another team that could potentially be strong and build even more is Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
That team I feel like is very good on paper, but for some reason just underperforms very often. But that team could definitely be strong as well. I think they could be in there challenging with Canada, Mexico, and the US, and kind of making it like a top four. I guess similar to like when Costa Rica had prime Keylor Navas. But
You mean last year?
yeah. Uh,
um,
but yeah,
Jamaica,
I think overall CONCACAF has gotten worse.
yeah. I mean, Jamaica's got a good shot this upcoming Wednesday, right? They've got um, Mexico at 10 p.m. It's going to be a fight for the final, and they could get in there. But and here's the thing: the reason I think why you don't hear about these next guys up is a lot of those next guy up for those clubs used to be big MLS guys, right? You're thinking Alvaro Saborio, right? Was a massive guy in Concacaf and for his national team. But with MLS expanding and growing, I saw this idea and I kind of dove into it, and I don't disagree with it, right? As MLS expands and starts getting these GAM, TAM, U22 designated players, all these different ways to sign better players. They're not looking at CONCACAF regions anymore to bring those players in. They're going to South America, they're going to Europe, they're going to places where these players are already, part of the hype. Um, there was a kind of like a comparison. of 10 years ago, CONCACAF players getting regular MLS minutes, and then now, and I mean, it's fallen off a cliff. Like it's not even comparable because they're not looking there anymore. Those guys who used to be MLS, mid-level senior guys or even MLS starters for some squads, they're being left behind. And that hurts the region as a whole because they're not going to Mexico. They're trying to, but Mexico's entire system is a nightmare right now. They're not going to Canada because Canada just started up. They're not coming to MLS, so they're kind of just stuck. Some of them are making that jump to lower level European leagues, but they're not getting time. So CONCACAF is definitely hurt and getting worse as we continue on. But much like MLS isn't responsible for our lower leagues, it's also not responsible for the region either, right? We can't be we need to have 7 slots for CONCACAF eligible play. We can't just do that because the league, the thing is falling apart. So it's getting worse, but I don't know how we fix that. And I don't think it's in our power to fix it. I think we just need to continue to do what we do.
No, it's definitely a really valid point. Something I didn't even think about, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't either. I only saw it before, like right before, right after the Canada game. I was like, you know what? That's a super good point. I wish I could find who tweeted it because I want to give them credit. But if they're listening and you tweeted it, tell me, and I'll say thank you.